Bare Element, Episode 1, recorded 29 March 2012.
Yay!
Awesome.
We're ready to make magic.
This is the Bare Element podcast.
So what element are you, Vito?
Oh, I think I'm water.
Have you settled on water?
Or earth.
Windy? Gassy?
Well, if we're going
Gassy.
that kind of element with the name like clay, which is my name.
That's very earthy for sure.
Earth, clay plays into that.
I want to mold you, Clay.
But I totally, when we said elements, thought of the periodic table. But we're going into this more...
Oh, yeah.
I'm flashing on a ghost right now with Demi Moore, and
we kind of had a disconnect. Clay thought it was elements like from the periodic table, and I'm thinking earth, wind, fire, water. I was right.
Because I was thinking I'd be Claytonium if we were going to, add ourselves to the periodic table.
There are way too many to choose from.
Yeah.
So.
Well, then we get to make up your own. We could add a whole new bar, the bear element.
Yeah, but that's not it, no. It's earth, fire.
I want to claim
wind,
fire.
Water.
Can I claim fire?
How about flaming?
Flaming, fire.
yes, there's a difference between flaming and fire.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tim.
And you said something about fire earlier in reference to yourself.
Well, about the burning red crotch.
The fire crotch.
I'm kind of calico, FYI, for the people listening.
And what's your name?
Mike.
Oh, Mike.
Mike.
Thank you for introducing yourself.
Fire crotch.
So we got Vito and Clay and Mike. Who else do we have here?
This is Tim.
Hi, Tim.
And I think what everybody else has already claimed all the other elements.
Tim's got pretty eyes, by the way.
So,
He's got very pretty eyes.
Oh, so playing off my eyes, and I'm an Aquarius, and Mike's over there licking his lips. I think I'm going to go with water for my element.
I'm a Sagittarius snake earth tone.
Oh, you do have a green shirt on. I'm a flaming red, relentless rat. But that's the year 1972. I was born.
72.
So the relentless rat.
I don't know what
rat.
animal I am in the Chinese.
Oh, you don't?
No, I forget.
Wow.
I've looked at it before. 75.
Clay, you're a Libra.
Libra
Mike,
rat.
Gemini.
Tim.
Aquarius,
and Sagittarius. I have, maybe the listeners can write in. I have no idea what that means.
The Sagittarius. I don't know that as well.
I know what sign I am. I don't really pay much attention to it.
Yeah.
Well, the four basic elements are earth, water, fire, and air. And then in some cultures there's a fifth element, which is spirit. And I think we decided that our spirit would be Wolfgang, our
Yes.
producer.
Producer Wolfgang.
Wolf. Well, say that again. I didn't have your mic up there, buddy.
Howdy, howdy.
There you go.
There's Wolfgang.
Wolf's in the house.
Well, why don't you be first then? Tell us about yourself.
Introductions.
Let's see. Born in Alabama, raised in Virginia in the 70s, lived south of Virginia, Southern Virginia, and in the 80s we moved up to Northern Virginia and been here in California for close to 4 years now.
Where are we, by the way?
Live in the Mission in San Francisco.
Okay, that's where you live. We're in San Francisco. That's where this podcast is based from.
Wow. We are in the heart of gay USA
This
in
is
the
gay
Castro.
Mecca.
Yeah, we're in the
Yes.
Castro. Baby.
Actually, right now we are looking down onto the Castro. We've rented a room here.
I've definitely decided that San Francisco is the best city in the world. I've moved away 5 times to realize that San Francisco is
5
the best.
times?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not good at learning lessons. Apparently, 5 times, but now I'm here.
This is a tough city, man. My transition from San Diego has been a little rough.
It's a wonderful and a tough city.
Yeah, and okay, so I'm originally from Orange County, and I came just recently from San Diego. I've lived in California my whole life, but never in Northern California
SoCal?
before. SoCal boy.
There's a
in the NorCal world.
Big divide, NorCal,
Yeah,
SoCal.
it's quite a different life here in the city. It's been amazing and difficult, and
How long have you been in San Francisco?
about 5 months now.
Oh, you're a
About
baby.
5 months. I'm a baby San Franciscan.
Oh.
Yeah.
We accept you. I'm talking for
The royal we.
The royalty has accepted
the
you.
Bear Mafia.
Thank God. Good day.
All right.
Where's Tim originally from?
Well, was there anything else about yourself first, or is that you?
Oh, I could go on and on.
Okay. Well, we've got lots of episodes that we can create from that, I'm sure. But
Tell us one interesting.
I was very active in the bear community in Los Angeles, even though I never lived in Los Angeles. I lived in Long Beach. Did all sorts of positions in the bear club down there in L.A.
I've actually chatted with people, and I've mentioned your name via Twitter, and someone's like, "Oh, I know Vito."
Yeah, I met a lot of people in a short amount of time.
Yeah, he's a definitely character not to be forgotten. And
then we have to give homage to the 619 Bearcast down in San Diego, which was that's such a success that I wanted to start a podcast up here. Thank you guys. It's been like wonderful, and it's been like wrangling cats.
Yeah.
So those of you not reading between the lines, Vito is a big part of the 619 Bearcast.
Well, for 90 episodes, these boys, they don't need me. That's for sure. That's why I had to do this podcast, so I'd have something to do.
Leave town. Tim, where are you from?
Let's see. Myself, I grew up also in Virginia Beach. I've been here in the Bay Area since 1996. Never actually lived in San Francisco. I've lived in the East Bay, mostly Hayward and Oakland. A little bit about what I'm up to. Well, right now, I'm the current president of the Bears of San Francisco. I'm a small business owner, have a screen printing business. What else? Well, I don't know where else to go with that.
What's your favorite flavor of ice cream, Tim?
My favorite flavor of ice cream.
My favorite flavor is purple.
Purple.
But, yeah.
And I'm wearing a purple shirt.
Oh,
Eat me.
I thought he said ice cream, not Kool-Aid.
oh, there you go.
Don't drink
My
the
favorite
brown
flavor is
Kool-Aid.
red.
Red.
My favorite color is ham.
Well,
I think I saw that somewhere on the internet. My favorite color is ham.
That's awesome.
Favorite ice cream? I don't know. One of the Ben & Jerry's that I've been liking lately is the red velvet cake. To go with that for now.
That's yummy.
It's an ever-evolving thing, though.
I had fennel ice cream.
Fennel.
wow.
Oh, actually, have you guys ever been to Humphrey Slocum's?
That's what I was going to say. I went to Humphrey Slocum's, which is a local place here. And if you don't know, it's a reference to Are You Being Served?
Oh,
Hello,
great,
Mr.
great.
Humphreys, are you free?
Mrs. Slocum.
Mrs. Slocum. It's totally awesome.
No, I did not know that. I love that place. If you
What
haven't been to
about-
Humphrey Slocum's yet, if you're here in San Francisco, go. If you're from out of town, make it a point to go.
Yummy.
Right. And we'll have a link on the website and on the podcast
Humphrey slogans.
on
Yeah,
the things
I
that
love
we talk
ice cream.
about.
Coolio.
Who are you?
Well, my name is Clay.
He also has a purple shirt on.
Yeah, it's purple and green night. Except for one of us. We won't name his name. But this is my third
His
time.
initials are Mike, though.
Firecrotch.
Firecrotch.
But enough about Mike. More about me. No, this is my third time living in San Francisco, so hopefully the third time's a charm. And
I can't get it. Why would you guys leave?
Well-
Why would you guys leave?
Because you get overwhelmed by all the gays.
once I left for a career opportunity, that didn't work out, by the way, so I came back. And then the second time was in the mid to late 90s when the .com, before it went .bum, and rents were going up, and I survived 2 owner move-in evictions before I realized maybe I need to take a break from the city.
Yeah, got it.
So I'm back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
I remember that time, yeah.
So
Did they pay you to move out?
no,
Oh, because I've known people who've gotten like $12,000 to move out, but I think that's rare. to move out of that.
it's pretty crazy, the real estate market here in San Francisco, but
The rents are completely outrageous. I mean, I knew they'd be high, but it's completely off the scale. It
You just have to be
really is.
ready for that if you move here. I have friends that are moving here, and they say, I won't have a roommate. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, you will have 4 roommates. You won't have 1 roommate.
Well, I don't have a roommate, and my place is the size of a postage stamp. It's so
Literally.
small.
it literally.
So
Why I live in Oakland.
Yeah.
okay,
Oakland's good for that.
Oakland. All sorts of things come to mind, and none of them are good.
Oh, there's some really nice parts of Oakland.
I know. There's visited.
Fenton's. Since we're talking about ice cream.
Well, yeah. Well, speaking of ice cream, I live over just above Noe Valley. The nearest is a place called the Upper Noe Valley Recreation Area. And there's Mitchell's Ice Cream, which is awesome. And my favorite flavor there is their Oreo cookie.
Cookies.
Which is a good thing. It's my favorite flavor because my partner Bill, that's the only flavor he buys when he goes there. So, good thing I like it.
Creature of habit, huh?
Yeah. So I live with my partner Bill, and I have a dog, Scarlet, who you'll get to meet in future episodes.
Miss Scarlet.
She's a crazy beast. And
We'll put some pictures up.
Absolutely.
Pets. Gays and pets.
Woof.
Yeah.
And that's me in a nutshell.
Uh-oh.
Nutshell.
Nutshell.
What about you, Firecrotch?
Me? Well, let's talk about me. All right, my name's Mike, and I do a lot of different things. I have a website called The Accidental Bear, and I started a men's health website recently called Inside First, which is a little bit harder to get up and running because people don't necessarily always want to talk about health. They want to talk about gossip and
Right.
sexy videos and things like that. I've lived in San Francisco on and off since '92. I've left about 5 different times. I moved to Hawaii, came back to San Francisco, moved to Hawaii, came back to San Francisco, moved to Alaska, moved to New Orleans.
Awesome.
Went to massage school, moved back to Hawaii, moved back to San Francisco. I'm waiting to hear back from nursing programs, so I'm in nursing school. It sounds like
There's something about touching other people. It seems
Yeah.
to be a theme here.
Yeah, and I want to get paid for it too, so I don't know what that means.
Dirty whore.
Yeah, so
Prostate massages.
no prostate massages. That takes special training. It does take special training. And what else? I think that's about it.
Yeah.
I live in Hayes Valley. We just moved there from the Mission, which I miss desperately because I used to walk through Dolores Park, which is one of San Francisco's treasures. And now I live in the Hayes Valley.
And speaking of ice cream, Buy Right there by Dolores Park.
Buy Right's really good.
Awesome.
I've heard of that.
Salted caramel.
Ongoing theme throughout.
Well, there's actually an ice cream place in Hayes Valley. I can't think of the name of it, though.
I
So
heard
that
Mark
is-
Zuckerberg was at that place by Dolores
By Right.
Park.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
wandering through the park.
Sometimes I forget that I'm up north. I'll see an oak tree and go, oh, it's not a pine tree, it's an oak.
And I have 2 children, cats. I'm a total cat lady. And their names are Goose and Chicken.
Goose and chicken?
That's the truth.
Well, we need some pictures of goose
Yeah,
and chicken.
they're attractive kids.
I have 2 betas,
Beta, fish. In the
And-
same tank?
one's at work, one's at home, and one's is Oscar and one is Felix because they're completely different personalities.
You put mirrors up to the tank. I know that you're not supposed to because it gets them aggravated, but... And they put the mirror up to the tank
Oh yeah,
and
they
puff up.
flare their fins and Oscar, he's the grouchy one. He flops over. He gets pissed off. If I put him in a little bowl to clean his bowl, he'll jump out of the bowl. He was out like 10 minutes once, and I put him back in. He was fine.
They like little tanks because I guess they're from Thailand. They live in like mud puddles and like rice
Yeah.
fields.
Yeah.
Just some trivia.
Exactly.
Because I remember I put one in a big fish tank, and someone said no, they like little tiny spaces because they're used to just little mud puddles.
Right, they're as happy as can be.
They're tough.
Happy as can be. So that's my pets. Do you have any pets, Tim?
I don't. My partner James, who I didn't
Loser.
mention though, has a golden retriever by the name of Peaches.
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 Yeah, she's adorable.
All
A
you-
terror, but she's
all you need
adorable.
is Herb.
Scarlet would eat peaches.
But it's interesting because we've really just met, many of us. I mean, I know Vito from San Diego, but as we've gone around the room here, I used to live in Virginia too. I went to Virginia Tech in Southern Virginia, and I lived in Northern Virginia. I've lived in Hawaii. I've actually gone to the resort that Mike used to work at, the Kalani on the Big Island. If you ever get the chance,
Yeah,
it's
it's great.
awesome.
Naked hippies.
Yippers.
Wow.
Beautiful area. About 5 miles from the natural volcano.
Really cool.
Well, I've never lived in Hawaii and I've never lived in Virginia.
I've never been to Hawaii.
It's good. It's good for you.
I've only been to Oahu.
That's Hawaii.
That's Hawaii. Okay.
It's Hawaii enough. But yeah, so it's this is fun.
This
I'm
was a good
enjoying
taste of
getting to know
everybody.
here.
Well, it's a little different. I did a Twitter in San Diego and got everybody together to do the 619 Bearcast, and this took a little bit longer. I don't want to say I hand-picked you, but I kind of did.
Yeah, how did we all come together? I missed the first meeting.
Well,
Did these guys stand in lines around the corner and have to audition?
I don't twat, so that clearly isn't how we got together.
no, just miscellaneous people that I'd run into. Just I want to say it was organic, but it really wasn't. I kind of handpicked people, and then those people ended up not being interested, and then some people had time conflicts. And then, Mike, you were a referral from Ryan.
Oh, good.
And then I've known Clay for a while, and I just asked him. I had already started the process of getting it going, and I just asked him out of the blue. And then Tim, when did I ask you if you wanted to be a part of the podcast?
I don't remember if it was at that New Year's Eve party at John Ashfield's place or
Blow Buddies.
or Blow Buddies. Or
It was actually there, but he couldn't
the
understand
windmills. No,
It's a famous place.
or maybe
here.
maybe it might have been at Bear Coffee at Cafe Flora.
Maybe. Where did I? Let me turn your mic up. Wolf, go ahead.
I believe this was at Bear Dim Sum during Bear Weekend, or the weekend formerly
that's
known as
right.
IBR.
Okay, that's when I hit you up.
Yep, that's when you hit me up.
Okay, awesome. I'm turning you off now.
Is Bear Weekend got to get a symbol just like
Smile
Prince
Wolf
or something like
Gang.
that? Just like the weekend formerly known as IBR. Just
Yeah. Well, I couldn't be happier, guys. So let's
And we're
do
going to
it.
be bringing in some exciting people, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to have
Guests.
guests. We got a great. We're doing a format. We have the producer keeping an eye on us. We're going to have guests and include the guests in the discussion. But I thought this first one would just be us.
Nice.
So-
And they can keep up with us on the website. And
We're going to have
Facebook
the
and Twitter
website,
and-
which is bearelement.com, which will be up when this is out for sure. Everything will be up and running by the time this gets published on iTunes. We'll have a Facebook page, Twitter account, and the website will definitely be up and running. And we love comments, right, guys? We want lots and lots of
Feedback.
comments.
no.
Lots and lots of
It
feedback.
doesn't always have to be good
No.
feedback, too. It can be constructive criticism.
Yeah.
I encourage that.
Absolutely.
And
Because we're here to titillate.
yes.
We're here to entertain.
And I don't think that we pretend to be the entire bear community. We're
Oh, no.
elements of the bear community. And,
Absolutely.
I think
So-
we have a good variety.
we have a good variety, but we're open to more variety in our guests.
Like,
What are our ages?
I'm 39,
Never
soon
ask
to be
a
40.
lady her age.
Well, there are no ladies here.
That's what ladies do.
Maybe what ladies do,
There's
but there
no
are no ladies here, I assure you.
We've got 5 penises.
What?
So how old are you, Clay?
I'm 51.
Really?
Really?
Gorgeous.
And you have very little gray hair.
Here's less. I think I have more gray hair than
I'm
you.
37 and I have more gray hair than all of you bitches.
What about me?
My partner's 14 years
Tons of
younger
gray
than me,
hair.
and
Well-
he has more gray hair than I do.
Well, I have more hair than you, so more gray hair also.
You know what? Every once in a while, say your name. I know it's going to be awkward, but every once in a while, go, this is Tim, this is
Mike.
just
This is Tim, and I have a lot of gray hair for 37.
And this is Mike, and I talk really fast and I mumble, which just comes up with me and my boyfriend. Because I mumble, I talk fast, and I hate to repeat myself, which is bad combination. So if you hear some mumbling and rambling, it's probably Mike.
There you go.
Well, this is Clay, and like I said before, I'm 51, and talk about things that we have in common. I still consider that I have a speech impediment. I went through 3 years of speech therapy as a child, and people say, "You don't have a speech impediment?" I'm like, because speech therapy worked for me. But one of them was about mumbling, and one of the constant reminders of my childhood was to enunciate.
Enunciate.
I'd walk in the room like, "Mom, I saw can't understand a word you said. I don't know what you have to enunciate." So,
Oh, I'm 46, by the way.
that was Vito, 46.
Yes.
So
So we have we don't wait. How old is Wolf? How old are you, Wolf?
I'm 39.
39.
Ooh, in the house.
Yeah, well, this is
Wow, I'm the young.
this is not a young crowd.
Young doesn't seem as young. Or
Well,
old doesn't seem as old. Like 50
Old,
doesn't seem
right.
old anymore to me.
Old is not as old, and
Like those
young
people who
is
are
even
12 years
younger,
older than
yeah.
me, I feel like I've
Yeah.
caught up to them. But when I was in a younger age frame, I felt like there's a bigger gap. But now that I'm
Absolutely.
like 39, 50 seems like the same age group.
Is it just as far as like attraction and stuff like that, or just people that
Just people in general. Like I have a stepmom who's 12 years older, and I feel like I'm in the same age group as her. But
Right.
when I was a kid, she was like old lady.
Right.
Yeah,
But
it's
now
true.
that I'm older, it's like I think the age groups kind of just get larger.
Well, for myself, not so much as like just socially like that, but I've noticed that. Well, I've always had a thing for older guys, and typically it has always been around like between like if I do a search online, it'd be like from like 50 to 65 or somewhere around there. And I've noticed in recent years it's like keeps creeping down a little younger.
Oh,
a little younger,
it's
a little
getting
younger.
younger.
Yeah, so
Maybe
I'm
you're
like
flip-flopping. You're going to be the daddy.
no, well, who knows? But it's like now it's like I'm doing a search for age to be like 40 to 65 around there.
Daddy Hunt. No affiliation. right? Daddy Hunt.
There you go.
Well, maybe that'll be a topic for a future broadcast, because I know
Absolutely.
sometimes I tease when my partner's making fun of me. I'm like, look, I've been dead in the gay world for 20 years. Leave me alone.
Age is huge.
Once you're past what age are you dead?
30.
30? You're dead.
Well, until you become 30, then it's 40.
Well, yeah, and the rules change as you go, but
Yeah.
San Francisco's a good city that embraces things like age and heavier men.
You really think so?
I do. 'Cause I
Maybe
especially
just
live
not
in-
out at the bars.
No,
lately,
well, I
but-
don't do bars, but compared to other places I lived at, like I think San Francisco embraces like age more. There's places and there's a need, or even with heavy guys. I'm getting some looks that there may be some.
well, I mean, everybody's experience is different. That's one of the things that brings us together to talk about these things, because I think I think people in San Francisco just don't give a shit. So you can do what you want.
All right. Well, in saying that, let's go ahead and take a quick break.
And we're back.
And we're back.
Ta-da.
From break.
How do you like to say take a pee? I like to say let go of the yellow flow. Do you have a special way of saying that, Vito? You can.
I usually say take a pee, but if you think about it, why would you want to take one? You want to
a-
give one.
I went.
Well,
and
you don't wanna take
donated
one.
a pee.
Are you into water sports?
No, absolutely not.
And earlier, I want to say that I said that Vito was Earth sign, but he's not. That was clay. I wanted to make a correction.
Oh, thank you for that.
Yes, thank you very much.
Right, Clay? I did say you
that's
are
totally
Earth.
fine.
Okay, off pee.
Well, wait. What about the Hawaiian term shishi?
Shishi. That is
Go
that's
shishi?
that's the term for kids have to go shishi.
Go shishi.
Oh, is
Gotta
it?
go shishi.
Yeah.
That's Hawaiian.
Shishi.
And they
Hawaiian,
all,
yeah?
I worked at actually after school program there, and all the kids call their the elders uncle, and it was really cute
Yeah.
having all these little kids say, "Uncle, uncle, gotta go shishi."
Oh, that is
Uncle.
cute.
And that's my story. That's my story.
And every woman that's older
Howley.
than you is your auntie.
Oh my God, you're total Howley.
I am, yeah.
Uncle and auntie. You're related to everyone.
Yeah, it's great. Their culture's awesome.
Yeah.
Did we want to get into some current events type stuff?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Trayvon Martin. What does anybody know about him?
Well, he's on the news every day.
He was shot and killed.
Yeah, by a neighborhood watch guy who was shot in the back.
I don't know. I have mixed
apparently.
emotions about this because sometimes the neighborhood watch guys can definitely get over the top, but I don't know.
The one thing that's interesting is the stories, the more come out, aren't matching. I guess he said he had a struggle with Trayvon, but today autopsy came back and they said he had no bruises. So that
And then the video with is it George
Yeah, Zimmerman.
came out and he looked fine getting out of the police car, going into the station.
Yeah, he had said that Trayvon had bashed his head into the ground several times.
right, and he
There
came
were no
back.
signs of that in the video.
Well, now I'm kind of changing my mind, but for most of the time I've been thinking, well, everybody's on the side of this kid. We haven't heard the other side of the story yet. What was he doing there? What was he doing there in that
Well,
complex? First of all,
He-
was a shortcut?
No, his family lived there.
His family lived there.
Yeah,
But there's
it's not his home. He was visiting because
Okay.
parents are separated.
There's so many things coming out though now. Like some white supremacist I saw Gawker hacked into his account, and it looks like now they're accusing him of being a drug dealer. And it's funny also the thing about the media. I don't know the whole situation, but they keep showing pictures of Trayvon as like this 12-year-old. So it's weird the way the media is portraying them too.
Oh, you mean the pictures that we're seeing?
the picture?
of him
Yeah,
or
this
is
one
he
right here I
younger?
have printed out. This is him at like years ago.
Oh,
So
wow.
the media is like showing certain age pictures and starting to portray him as one certain thing.
Well, I mean, this George guy is going to get lynched.
Yeah.
He's getting brutal in the media. It's crazy.
Well, I think it's appalling that everything that's come to light as far as the reports from people who had called 911 and everything, that he hasn't been arrested. I mean, regardless of what regardless of what the facts are about who Trayvon was, it doesn't. That's immaterial.
What?
But Florida law.
Regardless of who he was, regardless of who Trayvon was, going by the reports, the people that the 911 calls, what the people were reporting to the police had happened and what they observed, George was way out of line. Shooting this kid, and the fact that he's still free, I think, is appalling.
Well, but that's the whole rigmarole about this Florida law, where you can shoot first and ask questions later if you feel that your life is threatened. And based on this law, the police and the prosecutors feel that they have to take his word for it initially. Now, they can continue their investigation, but that's why he wasn't arrested, because the law doesn't allow you to arrest somebody who says, I felt my life was in danger, so I shot.
Who's the governor? A Bush? Okay. I don't want to get into that.
Well, I like all the side thing that's come out of this too. All the hood wearing. I guess there's a member of Congress that went into.
Yes.
My boyfriend would be totally pissed that I can't remember his name, but he went into Congress with a hood up, and totally it just as a statement, and it's just really making everybody look at.
Well, that all goes back to Geraldo Rivera saying that wearing a hoodie is just as much at fault for him being shot.
Yeah, but
as
that's
the guy shooting him, which is just ridiculous. But
that's like blaming a rape victim for you shouldn't have been wearing what you were wearing, and you wouldn't have been raped. You were asking for it.
Now take a step back, because I know there's a lot of liquor stores and things that have gotten. Oh, what do we got here?
Candy.
Oh, awesome.
We have
Wolf. What do we got? M&Ms, all sorts of different flavors.
alrighty.
Wolfie's my new favorite person. What were we talking about? I want a hoodie with M&Ms on it.
Oh my god, what is that? Oh, that's almonds. Let me have some of that one here.
What's the blue one?
Whoa!
I want the peanut.
Shows how
ones.
easily we're distracted. We're talking about the tragic death of a young
squirrel.
African American, and we have
Peanut
treats.
Can I have the nuts?
Coconut.
The peanut ones.
You want the peanut?
I
ones?
love
Butter.
peanut ones.
What are the green?
Oh, the
is that
mint?
just green
This
ones?
one's mint, and this one's coconut.
Was this a planned distraction? I feel like I'm getting sucked into something.
Well,
Are these M&Ms dipped in LSD?
Ooh, shiny! Stop talking politics and eat M&Ms.
oftentimes, and maybe to my own detriment, whenever I hear about something or read about something, I often try to relate it back to me or my own experiences. That's just one of the ways I relate to the world. And I was recently in Florida, and I was staying at a friend's house who lived out of town, and he had mailed me the key to his house and his car. And we didn't get in until like midnight, and we go out. My partner, I tease him, I call him the Hobbit because he's always hungry. So at midnight, he's like, I'm hungry. I'm like, of course you are. So we go out and get into this car, and the alarm goes off. And there's no fob, it's just a key. So I call my friend and say, your car alarm is going off. He's like, well, start the car. Who knew? I've never had a fancy car with an alarm.
With a button?
No, he didn't have
a button starter?
No, you actually had to.
Oh, okay.
Once you start the car, then the alarm goes off. Well, as we're backing out of the driveway, we notice the police car pulls up across the street. And we think, oh, that's probably about us. But they didn't flash a light at us or make any indication that they were interested in us. So we just backed out of the driveway and we're driving away. And sure enough,
he pulls you over?
Cop car starts following us. And I'm teasing. I'm like, oh, he's running the plate. And then by the time we were just getting ready to exit the neighborhood, the lights come on. So we're ready for this. We pull over. And very polite. But then his buddy shows up, comes whipping around the corner, jumps out of his car and puts the flashlight right in my face, very aggressive. And I'm looking at him like, what's your problem? And long story short, he has the officer has the dispatcher call my friend who we're staying at his house and verify by name who we are and all this good stuff. I offered to take him back to the house and show him the envelope that the keys were mailed in. I had those with me and all this. And we didn't really feel we were in any danger. But one kind of funny thing that happened was the dispatcher comes back on the radio and says, "Oh yeah, I spoke to the owner and he said that he, lent the house and his car to his friend and two friends visiting from San Francisco and everything's fine." And the officer comes back and he said, "Well, did he give you a name?" She's like, "Oh yeah, well there was Clay and another man, his significant other." And at this point, Bill and I are we're going to jail.
We're fagged.
You're right. We're going to get fag bashed in Orlando.
Do you think it would have been different if you guys were black, though?
Well, see, that's what brought me to this whole thing. I think I experienced some white privilege, even as a white gay man. I think my experience would have been very different if I had been a minority, or if one of us had been a minority. And it just really started the wheels turning in my head. How close was I to getting arrested or shot or, whatever. So
maybe we have some listeners that have had some different experiences in Florida.
Absolutely.
I guess geography has a huge part in that too. Just whether you're living in Virginia or San Francisco or Florida, I think the race is, definitely perceived differently compared to percentages of people living there.
Yeah, well, I mean,
maybe
my stepmother, she taught in a school that had been segregated. It was the black elementary school in all of Loudoun County until just about 3 years before we moved there in the 70s, and by just virtue of the neighborhood, it was still mostly a black school. They weren't doing anything actively to integrate it.
Have any of you guys lived somewhere where you were the minority, as a white guy
in Hawaii?
Hawaii.
Yeah.
We're all white, huh? Well, I'm the darkest. I'm Italian and Irish.
But that's always different. I've been in certain places in Hawaii where I've looked around, and not just Hawaiians, but Hawaiians, such a mixture of people. There's Filipino and Korean and Tongan and Samoan and Japanese, and I'm like, so I've definitely felt that, but never threatened by it.
Were you ever threatened, for being a haole?
For being a haole, yeah. Being in certain areas, but it was more like a feeling, not physically threatened.
Okay.
But never physically threatened.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy stuff.
And these M&Ms are really good.
I was going to say something about the hoods when we got interrupted by M&Ms. Thanks, Will. It took me off track. That I know liquor stores were putting up signs for a while in L.A. saying you can't come in with a hoodie because they found that when people had hoodies, they were trying to hide themselves and they were up to no good.
Just with the hoods up?
Just with the hoods up.
Right.
But in San Francisco, people wear the hoods up all the time because it's cold.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think some banks make you take off your sunglasses, too.
Just no hat, no sunglasses.
Yeah,
a
which
lot
is
of
kind
banks.
of funny. I walked into the Bank of America the other day and I had sunglasses on. I was like, I popped them off. I felt guilty or something.
Right.
Oh, wow.
I was going to jack them.
Orders.
I mean, I'm really threatening, right?
We're on top of a Bank of America right now.
Yeah.
Online today I saw, I don't know if they're actually being produced, but a hoodie with a print on the back that said something about, casual hoodie wearer.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
Casual hoodie wear. Oh, actually, I printed out something.
Casual hoodie wear, please don't
People
shoot
are actually making money off this already, though, too. I forgot I printed this out. I was just looking on stuff online earlier, and there was Google finds what advertising or what you're looking at, and then the ads pop up according to what you're looking at. And there's already sweatshirts being sold online calling Trayvon Martin. I look to you, Trayvon. So there's already people are actually already making money off it.
Well, and his parents have already moved to trademark some things.
Yes.
It's just interesting. I don't know how I feel about that. It's just
I don't
interesting.
know. I don't know.
I think
cool.
it's always a question of too soon. But I was funny in the corner. There was a link saying you can, I look to you, Trayvon sweatshirt.
Well, I'm not going to begrudge his family of doing that.
No,
You
I don't.
know,
I don't
it's
think
the
it was
other people that
affiliated
are
with his
just doing
family.
it for a cash grab that I'd start having an issue with.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if there's anything like that could benefit, his family from this tragedy, why the hell not?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I don't
So
know,
you're
but
gonna-
vilifying, but it's like, and then, well, I guess he's dead, right? But to vilify George, and he's gonna be like, what was that other chick's name? She's totally vilified now. She can't do anything. Well,
Monica Lewinsky.
Sarah
there you
Palin?
go. Whatever.
Oh, Sarah
There's
Palin.
too many of them. There's too many of them.
Well, so speaking of vilifying somebody or being upset about it, what's the consensus in the room about Carson Daly's comments about the what it would have been like if the plane had had a different constituency than it did when the JetBlue incident happened when the captain kind of lost his mind?
Well, let's do a little background. There was a flight with JetBlue from the East Coast flying to Vegas.
right.
And the pilot started freaking out, and
the
the
plane was-
co-pilot was able to kick him out of the cockpit.
And came over the loudspeaker and asked people to subdue him.
And it was
how,
a plane.
how scary
full
would
of-
that be?
What was the plane full of? There were security guards, or
Yeah, there
what
was
were they on
a
a-
security
Special
convention
Convention,
right.
event going on in Las Vegas. So there was a bunch of like really big security guard type guys that
Take
would-
action.
Yeah,
So Carson
dude.
said if the plane was filled with a bunch of I think he also, his tone of voice changed. That's what the thing said. And if there was going to Vegas convention for floral convention, the gays wouldn't have stepped up or
stop.
something.
I think
Right,
Stop
and-
it.
it was
yeah,
like
they
if it was
started
me
making
on a
little
plane
silly
with my
voice.
luck, it would have been something like a bunch of people going to gay pride or a
So I think that's funny.
Because
I know I'm
the
not
gays are
supposed to,
tough.
but I think that's funny.
No, you're not supposed to. I don't think it's funny.
But I do.
It's so stereotypical.
well.
You know?
But then Mark Bingham, who was on Flight 93 at September 11th, his mom stepped forward. He was killed in that flight. He was the one who tackled the pilot.
He's one of the group of guys that
attackers.
stormed the cockpit.
And his mom came on, or was on the news today, asking. No one asked anybody if Mark was gay when he helped take down the pilot.
Right.
think
He's 6'4" and he played rugby. There was no question.
I mean, pretty much any time you say anything, I mean, even trying to be remotely funny, there's always a situation where there's somebody that's going to be tight. It's going to hit close to home.
Well, you have to take responsibility for being in the
Yeah.
public eye as well. And he's already
Yeah.
been all over the news apologizing.
Right.
I think he is sorry.
I think.
Well, I'm sure
do
he's sorry, but is he sorry really, or is he sorry for this bad press?
I don't know. I mean, as far as myself, I mean, it was a little inappropriate for him to say it, but it's not like I got like super bent out of shape. Like, how dare he? How very dare he?
When I first heard it, I thought, Carson Kressley? He said,
What, is that the guy from
Why would
Queer
he-
Eye for the Straight Guy?
yeah.
Yeah.
What if a gay guy said it? If
What
like
is
Richard
Carson Daly
Simmons said
doing
it.
now anyway? Does he even have...
Oh, he's a host on
The Voice.
The Voice.
Oh.
He's the guy that
Right,
says
right.
he's
Did
like
I just lose my gay card?
no. He's like the
Yeah,
Ryan.
You lost your
Seacrest.
musical card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the Ryan Seacrest of The Voice.
No.
And they say he's manorexic because he's really skinny.
Well, I mean, one of the things that I kind of take
Really
a
important.
little bit of offense to about the whole argument is that, I mean, I respect Mark Bingham's mother and her being upset about this. She lost her son. But she's talking about how he played rugby and he was 6'4". If you know anything about your gay history, when you go back to the Stonewall riots, it wasn't the strapping white dudes that started that crap.
Oh, no.
It was the
drag
Puerto
queens.
Rican and black drag queens, and they were like, they had enough. They were done, and they went out and they told all the guys on the street that were just watching them, like, you're next. Sure, this is our bar, and they're coming after us. But after they get done with us and we're all in jail, what are they going to do? They're coming after you, and they got them all riled up.
Oh, it's true.
And
It's very true.
and so your size, your color. I mean, I don't see how it's all that relevant in a situation like this. I mean, I agree with you, Tim, that he was just trying to be funny and maybe a little
Right.
inappropriate. I'm not sure that it's something that I want to get, all worked up about.
Right.
But I think it's a good discussion point. What do they call it? It's a good teaching moment, a good
Yeah.
learning opportunity. That bravery and chutzpah and making change isn't about being the biggest and the baddest and the toughest always. We can learn a lot.
Because younger gays did hear that, and they're in their mind thinking, "Oh, I can't. If I'm gay,
That means I'm not
perceived-
rough.
I'm not rough, and I'm not tumble. They're already getting kicked enough, probably not literally."
Well, sometimes when I hear these queens on the subway talking, it just. But we'll talk about that another time. But I have a buddy that's a airline flight attendant, and he was actually coming from Long Beach to Vegas. So I thought he was on that flight. So I texted him, and it's Jack, my buddy Jack. A lot of people know Jack, but it wasn't him. It wasn't him, thank goodness. So.
Carson Tisk. Well, it did, for whatever reason, it did dent his career, and now we're talking about it, so it's...
I guess well, looking at it more from the aspect of, or are we moving on?
Let's move on.
Okay.
Well, just one final thing on that, if you don't mind. Just in our post 9/11 world, have any of us since 9/11 been on a flight where there was something that was potentially threatening or scary? I mean, I'm just trying to put myself in the mindset of these passengers, especially after the whole incident with American Airlines where the flight attendant lost her mind talking about the plane was going to crash.
Yeah, it's like something in the air, yeah.
Yeah, and then now there's a pilot doing this.
That's crazier, the pilot.
No, I traveled for a living for over 4 years, 100% travel on planes.
Oh, I've picked you up at the airport. I know.
300,000 miles. Nothing.
I do remember fresh
Smooth as
after
silk.
9/11, though. Just seeing people get up to go to the bathroom, and I'm like,
Looking at them.
just kind of checking them out. But I haven't flown in a while. I haven't flown since the crazy pat-downs have happened, where everyone's texting. I got frisked at the airport. I haven't flown in a while.
Take your shoes off and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I just became an expert at all that stuff.
Yeah, the closest thing I ever had to that was as we were taking off, there was an argument in business class between these two passengers, and they were still standing as the planes started to taxi, or actually started to take off roll, and the flight attendants were yelling at them, "Sit down now," and they're still having their little argument or whatever. And when after they took, everybody sat down and it calmed down. And when the flight attendant came by, I'd already taken my belt off, and I'm like, "You need me to tie anybody up?" And she's like, "Oh, bless your heart."
Bless her heart.
People do that, though. The plane's taking off. You're supposed to sit your ass down, and they're like, "I'm just going to grab my book." And the plane's like on the thing. I get anxiety for them.
Oh, they can screw those flight attendants can mess you up.
Yeah, I wouldn't mess with
You can go to jail, like the whole thing with Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Words with Friends. Oh yeah, he learned. You don't mess with flight attendants.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You don't?
No,
Alec Baldwin got in trouble for playing Words with Friends on an airplane. And when there's that time period where you're not supposed to be doing anything.
Right.
It's basically designed for you to pay attention to the to the flight attendant. I want to say stewardess is so bad. Flight attendant.
Bless your heart.
Air
Bless
got
your
it.
heart. And he didn't do it, and there's consequences.
Well,
Lots of
they
consequences.
removed him from the flight, didn't they?
Yeah, something happened.
I'm Alec Baldwin, bitch.
Right.
That's what I think he was thinking about.
No, it doesn't matter who you are.
No.
So it seems like we've, just to let everybody know that's listening, we kind of threw some ideas together, mashed them up from some emails into a document and about things we can talk about. And so far, everything we've talked about is a little bit heavy. So on a lighter note,
Give it to us, Clay.
we have a question here. What do you do with your other hand when you masturbate? Oh yeah, we went there. We're going to get the
Okay.
explicit tag. Explicit.
Like, what do you do with it?
What do you do with it, Mike?
Well,
you're
wait
first.
a minute. How many lefties do we have in the room?
I'm a lefty.
I'm
a
right.
lefty.
Oh, wow. I'm
Right.
Right-handed.
Right. Wolfgang?
He's
Right
right-handed.
hand.
So I write with my right hand,
Mm.
but do I masturbate with my right hand?
Why are you doing
But
that
you're
with your left
left-handed.
hand?
Oh,
You
I'm
were saying,
right.
I write
See,
with my right hand, but you're using your left hand
well, I
to
write with my.
demonstrate.
See, this is how messed up you are when you're a lefty. I write with my left hand. I actually do everything else, almost everything else
So
with
it's
my right hand.
ambidextrous.
That's probably why I'm so bad with sports. I bowl right-handed. I pitch right-handed.
Is bowling a sport?
Absolutely.
Ah,
You get sweaty. You have to wear special uniform shoes. Anyway,
yes.
they have beer. So I The only things I do with my left hand are write and masturbate.
Are you avoiding the question? What do you do with your other hand?
Actually you masturbate with your right hand, even though you're left-handed.
Am I still saying right hand?
Yes.
Okay. I write with my left hand. I masturbate with my left hand. I do everything else with my right.
There you go. Okay.
Wipe your butt with your right hand.
Yep, I do.
Front to back.
What?
Wait a minute. You just
reached in between the front of your legs to sort of check that
Did your
rather than
mom
around
teach
back.
you how to do that?
Well,
Do
that's
you move
all,
around back or from the front?
I go from the front.
You go from the front?
Yeah.
That's how girls do it.
No, I don't think so. I do too. I do, and I've always thought of that in my mind. I'm like, I'm a fucking girl because I'm wiping from front to back, but I'm not.
You know, it's
a girl.
hysterical. My next door neighbor in the dorm in college, he's like, we were having this argument in college, because you have nothing better to talk about. Do you wipe from the front or the back? And he's like, I wipe from the side. And so he reenacted it for us. He leaned over and he would reach from the side.
But what do you do with your other hand when you're masturbating with your right hand?
Clay seems to be
Or
avoiding
left
that
hand.
question.
Yeah. Everything else but.
Do you scratch your balls? You tweak your boobs?
What do you do?
You stick your finger in your hole?
I make dinner.
I'm just, he's avoiding the question, so I'm just trying to help him with ideas.
I click play on the video
that is good.
on the screen.
Yeah.
No, actually, my nipples aren't
That one's on
wired,
the
so
mouse.
playing with my nipples is a waste of time. So yeah, either my balls or click on the video, the play button.
Yeah.
Make it, skip it all the way till he finishes.
Well, those free bear clips, they only last about a minute or two, so sometimes you have to hit play
You do a
again.
little something special,
YouTube.
like right before
Xtube.
the explosion.
Yes, Xtube.
yeah.
Xtube, yes, for sure. Hey, pass me the coconut M&Ms, please.
Coconut. Is that what you do with the other hand when you're masturbating?
The coconut M&Ms. No,
I just eat bonbons while I'm masturbating.
Dim sum.
I used to play with my nipples, and now I don't do that. That's another story.
That's another story.
I rub my chest
For another episode.
and do the controls like Clay,
That's good. No
the
fancy.
video controls.
Straightforward.
What about you, Mike?
I actually do the same thing. This is kind of revealing. I usually will look at some porn, often Xtube, with my left hand searching through Xtube.
And you're right-handed or left-handed?
I'm right-handed.
You're right-handed.
Just
okay.
with the left hand.
So am I the only lefty?
And I
here?
have actually. This is going to share a lot too. I have like a pressure point. I am a massage therapist, but actually, when I'm embarrassed all of a sudden. But when I'm actually
turning
masturbating
red.
with my right hand, there's a special spot that I like to push. That's not my butt.
Is it your taint?
No, it's actually above it. It's like on the top where your pubic hair is.
Oh wow!
This is way too much information. I
Yeah,
think.
this is TMI.
But yeah. So I actually go between the control and the special spot.
special spot.
Special spot.
So Tim, you're
I
the
don't
only
know,
one
well,
we
that's, I
haven't
guess,
heard
well,
from. Tim.
If that was TMI, I don't know.
Timmy!
I was gonna,
Imagine if my
go a little further
imagine
back.
if my pubic hair had a clitoris. I would tickle that area.
oh, God. You just
I'm sorry.
ruined the podcast.
Go ahead, Tim.
You broke it, Mike. Forget it.
Just stop.
Mike's never going to touch himself again.
No, I will.
Well,
Or Tim. Mike.
I started really getting into my nipples for a while and had them pierced back in September, and I've had a really difficult time when I have sex with people to have them not play with them because it feels so good, but they always end up going a little too far with them. So they still have some healing to do because I just can't.
Okay, but you're masturbating with your right hand. What are you doing with
Right.
your left hand?
Talking to his mom.
Mom! Could you not?
So sometimes I started to get in, playing with my nipples a little bit, not so much anymore, but I'll, either doing something with my balls or my ass or
Really?
something like that.
Do you have an
cool.
Xtube
Wow.
channel? I'm just
No.
asking. I'm just curious. You don't have to give it out, but
An Xtube channel?
channel. I mean, because you can have your own channels and.
No.
and
I'm
'cause
going to
most-
plead the fifth on
I like
that.
because it's amateur. That's my
Yeah.
favorite point.
It's not
amateur.
under my own name. Let's just say that.
Well, you know what? This has been a fun learning experience. We've had some
So what does Vito do?
technical challenges.
I don't think Vito
He
said
talked
what-
about
said
it.
rub
He
my
rubs his
chest.
chest.
Oh, he rubs his chest.
Yeah.
He rubs mayonnaise on
and
his chest.
and he clicks play on the internet. So yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. Like usually when I'm masturbating, I really don't It's just I get into what I'm doing with myself. It's like it's rare that I get into like a whole fantasy about somebody that I'd like to be having sex with or anything. I just get into what I'm doing. It's not.
That's good.
It's not a vain.
That's my
thing
time.
Yeah,
My time.
It's a little meat.
Speaking of time,
wait. How
we are
often?
out of time.
I don't care. We'll go over.
Oh, we're going over.
How
I'm
often
going to
do
say
you
the
masturbate?
honest truth is at least once a day, which probably gets in the way of sex with the boyfriend. That's a kind of a Barbara Walters crying moment. Sorry.
What
Once
about
a day.
you?
Actually, because of that very issue, having masturbation, too much masturbation versus sex with the boyfriend, I've been exercising some self-control. So, probably...
Does it help? Does it increase the libido in the other area?
It actually, it's not so much the libido is not really the issue. It's just sort of, after a good few decades of pleasuring myself, I'm really good at it. So,
Yeah.
and I've only been
Absolutely.
dating Bill for a couple of years now. Got to give him a chance to get caught up. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we're at now. We're like, all right, well, he's not as good as I am, but he's pretty darn good. So we're gonna go with that.
I'm a few times a
very
week
cool.
sort of guy myself.
Oh, wow. No, once a day. Once a day.
Depends on the day. I'm trying to remember the last. It's been 2 days. I didn't today or yesterday. The day before.
Thanks
Monday.
for sharing. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. Did we say Tim has really pretty eyes?
Yes, we did.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
I just wanted to bring it up again.
Alrighty, guys. So our tradition to wrap things up is going to be to scratch someone's back.
Back scratch.
Back scratch.
As in a thank you.
So
for
Vito,
listening.
Yeah.
whose back are you going to scratch tonight?
Well, I'm going to scratch my buddy Kenny's back. There you go.
Yeah, Kenny.
He just got back to his house, his little apartment in Long Beach, after 2 months in the hospital.
Oh wow.
And he's not doing too well, but he's doing his best. Back scratch to that.
Back
Yay.
scratch to Kenny.
Back scratch to Kenny.
Let's go around the room, Tim.
Similar note, now that we're getting all heavy and stuff, I've got a friend, Jeff, who's headed into the hospital tomorrow for some surgery. So just, my thoughts are with him. On a lighter note, back scratches to all you guys here. This has been a lot of fun. Looking forward to doing more of them.
Back scratch.
Also to my partner, James, and my best friend, Anders. So
There you go.
Cool. Well, I'm going to jump in here so Mike
I'm last.
gets to be last. Big back scratch to my partner Bill. He puts up with a lot, and usually at the end of every night I make him scratch my back whether he wants to or not. So it's the least I could do. Reciprocate.
I scratched James' back a lot too.
But I also like to give a back scratch out to Mark Bingham's mom because I know that she lost her son on 9/11, and he was, you can just see the love every time she speaks for him. And so whether Carson Daly was way out of line or not, it obviously hit a raw nerve for her. So scratch for mom.
So my back scratch is, I'm going to be really basic and boring maybe to my boyfriend, who is the most patient person on earth. And actually, I'm going to give a back scratch. Can I give it an anonymous back scratch?
Sure.
I have some friends who are living together, and their time together just kind of dissolved, and one was asked to move out because there's probably mental health issues involved, drugs involved, the combination, and the person who has been evicted, which I'll say unnamed, I hope he lands on his feet.
He will.
It was a good smack in the face, but back scratch to him.
Cool.
And I'd like to give another back scratch to Wolf for being our great producer and helping us out and keeping us on track. And all you guys, I think this would be great, and I can't wait for our
The
50th.
flow.
How about that?
Alrighty.
Or our 250th. We'll
Why are
see.
you shooting so low?
1,000 episodes.
In the back
fuck that.
scratch, I want it to be with a big, like, I'm imagining a big hand, but when someone was talking about a back scratch, I was imagining one of those, like, little Chinese back scratchers. So I want a big, like, contact man.
Full body contact,
body
reach
hand.
around with both hands.
Yeah. Like you mean
back
it.
scratch. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool.
To the left.
Well,
Okay,
let's write up.
to the right.
And I think it's okay for us to do this. It's got, and I'm Vito.
And I'm Tim.
I'm Clay.
And I'm Mike.
Good night.
Good night.
Or
Good day. Whatever.
Good day.
Anyway,
blokes,
cheers.
mate.
Visit us at bearelement.com.